So now coming back to, I mean, of course, I have discussed that uh, this political instability aspect is kind of vanished, and a very optimistic picture of Pakistan has emerged where there is national unity among politicians, and there is uh, um, more space given to another very important issue, whereas Pakistanis are standing together, united, while at the same time somebody, a researcher like me, would be highlighting that it is sheer hard work, resilience, bravery of Pakistani institutions, Pakistani leaders, Pakistani army, Pakistani police, Pakistani businessmen, uh, Pakistani the common people, and thereby Pakistani nation has built this country and their resilience on very strong footing, and thereby it is just natural that Pakistan now should really take the road to economic prosperity and become kind of an Asian tiger, which is quite expected. And therefore, the government, the incumbent government of Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif should complete its 5-year terms, and thereby one should expect that Imran Khan and PTI is more accommodative to the political aspects, whereby they might represent historic arguments of maybe spurious corruption, or not being trusted, with not putting their trust to the leaders of on the leaders of Pakistan Muslim League and Pakistan People's Party. I mean, political debate. I know. I mean, political debate needs to be understood through a certain context. There has to be kind of a accountability drive through opposition. Having said that, this is it is kind of a coincidence. It is something which is one should feel more prominently that news and attention going to the Indian-Pakistan hostility suddenly brings a more clear picture, which represents really an optimistic, an amazing picture of Pakistan, its people, its leaders, its government servants, Pakistan Army, and suddenly there is a united uh, nation, without any ethnic divides, without any very different point of views. Everybody working to make Pakistan a great country, a great nation. Of course, uh, in fact, in reality, the fact is that political instability cannot really improve within few days. It is kind of a perception which has emerged. It is kind of a, which has helped see the real picture of Pakistan, a beautiful picture of Pakistan. So what can improve political stability in Pakistan? Imran Khan is the key here, and absolutely his interest to talk to military establishment then would make Pakistan Army, and especially our respected Chief of Army Staff, Sayyid Asim Munir, who has been covered by New York today, that he's one of the most important person to then decide uh, uh, about the peace in the region and effectively implement peace in the region by stabilizing the relationship between Pakistan and India. But most importantly, he is also one of the most important person to then assist, guide, and lead the democratic government, the government of Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, to then be able to have a more meaningful dialogue with opposition and PTI, and thereby, in reality, political instability is resolved, and there is stable politics, which would then allow the government to then move forward after achieving macroeconomic stability. Pakistan should be really looking for sustainable, inclusive economic growth rates and economic prosperity through in coming years. So while if I may discuss this Indian hostility, there is kind of a technical aspect which is represented through the discussion I already had, where I covered India-Pakistan stand-up, that I, being a student of media, learned a great deal from especially Tabish program, Harnaman, where he said that uh, Pakistan or Pakistanis are against any form of terrorism. And yes, the 25 years Pakistan representing a resilient, brave fight against fundamentalism and war on terror, uh, and then re-establishing in the world the right image of Islam and also Pakistan and Muslims, whereby it is represented through noble human values and very refined cultural practices and aesthetics. One may then suggest that one can also focus on some of the statements made by Indian leaderships, especially now Geo News and other media outlets showed one of the speeches of President Narendra Modi, and he there is focusing on the aspect of terrorism. He didn't even link it to Islam or Muslims. He showed his concerns, he showed his commitment to the Indian nation, that Indian leadership, his office, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, is focused towards addressing the issue of terrorism as well. And this is kind of a connecting argument, connecting the interests of Pakistan, Pakistani nation, Pakistan Army, and India, Indian establishment, and the office of the Prime Minister of India, and Indian Parliament as well. So one can build on this, and refreshingly, I mean, this notion that there should be a significant decrease in hostilities, and this environment of conflict would then really be possible. And again, our brave and influential Chief of Army Staff, General Syed Asim Munir, is the most important person, the key person, who can facilitate this atmosphere of competition and a bit of understanding and cooperation through diplomatic channels, and thereby hostilities or atmosphere of conflict would be transformed into economic rivalry and economic competition, whereby both Pakistan and India would focus on economic progress of their nation states. And imagine what this model represents, that simultaneously through the office of Pakistan's Prime Minister, through Imran Khan's cooperation and Imran Khan's vision, and influencing his opinion to then be able to contribute positively as an opposition, while Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's government completes 5-year terms, while at the same time facilitated by the most influential office of Chief of Army Staff of Pakistan, General Syed Asim Munir. One can then imagine that it is quite possible that political stability would improve after so many years, rather more than 2 decades, that suddenly political stability would be improving to then allow government to focus on their policies which would contribute to economic progress of Pakistan and Pakistani nation, while at the same time the data is there, hard work, resilience, entrepreneurship, creativity, innovation, diplomatic outlook, cooperation with other nation states, bridging information gaps by creating new trade markets, and new memorandums of cooperation with other nation states in Central Asia, East Asia, and having even a better relationship with Europe, United States of America, and China, the major players, and thereby subtly addressing hostilities by transforming it into economic rivalry and economic competition with India would really then create this process whereby this picture which is emerging, because we as Pakistanis are not spending our time in a concern that how to manage political instability and how to really convince Imran Khan and PTI to then be cooperative with the government, while the government has clearly shown through media that they have effectively stabilized the macroeconomy and the future is optimistic and positive, while I and some others are providing an historic account, not really so far in the past, but for the last 25 years since the war on terror was started, and really highlighting that there is no nation more brave, resilient, hardworking than Pakistan and Pakistanis. And of course, this spiritual values, the world is learning from how Pakistan, despite economic stagnancy, has really contributed to social progress, where elite businessmen and elite entrepreneurs, industrialists have historically been taking part in generous philanthropic activities, helping their countrymen, even making philanthropy internationally, and thereby uh, directing their spirituality, their identity as Muslims, to a cause that is worthwhile, a cause that should be praised. And therefore, this rhetoric, which indeed appears like a rhetoric that Pakistan is only defined to elite culture and significant poverty, and that rhetoric is also coming from Indian media whenever there is hostility. So Pakistan has redefined itself, and therefore, with these two arguments that political instability would go down tangibly as it is being perceived, as more news is being covered about India-Pakistan hostility, where we have this breathing space to then say, all right, what then really represents Pakistan if not political instability? And Pakistani nation, Pakistan's brave army, Pakistan's brave police, brave leaders, and brave entrepreneurs, their intuitiveness, their resilience is that picture with those accolades is emerging, and therefore it appears to be it is their effort which defines the reality of what Pakistan and Pakistani nation is all about, and therefore this decreasing political instability would facilitate to then strengthen this image, whereby Pakistan will be one of the most important countries and a nation state to guide the world to then address, for example, as far as India is concerned, this negative outcomes of Hindutva, while guiding Europe and United States of America to address identity politics, not as a threat to liberal values, but as a process which represents spirituality. And if directed rightly, it would create transformations represented through many manifestations of health, which I have discussed in my previous blogs as well. And therefore, once this picture is emerging and this impression is being confirmed, Pakistan would really then, the government, the incumbent government of Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, would then utilize political stability to then work and really implement policies with his great, very talented team, very hard-working team, to then allow Pakistan to have sustainable and inclusive economic growth rates and economic stability and economic progress, even addressing the issues of poverty and inequality and social injustice, and therefore greater right representation would be practiced for all Pakistani citizens. And while the second assumption is that though Indian hostilities have highlighted the real picture of Pakistan to the world by deviating their attention from this political dissent, which is kind of representing political instability for more than a decade in Pakistan. While Pakistan Army, and especially the office of Chief of Army Staff, the most influential office in Pakistan, the most effective office to really redefine diplomacy in in the world, as far as Pakistan is concerned, is Office of the Chief of Army Staff of Pakistan. It is General Syed Asim Munir and his team, who would then really create a strategy to redefine Pakistan's diplomacy, and of course contribute in redefining even regional international diplomacy by then allying this increasing hostility and hostile postures by India, representing through media and diplomatic channels, to be transformed into something which represents economic competition. And thereby, with this economic competition, Pakistan would have a greater chance, would have a greater opportunities to represent its 25 years of hard work, resilience. And I'm sure, as being a researcher, this model nicely would then, through the fact that how I have defined the 25 years of Pakistan since the war on terror started, highlighting the examples of bravery, immense bravery, resilience, ingenuity, entrepreneurship, political vision, and especially the discipline and the contributions of Pakistan's establishment. And therefore, there's a great chance that political instability in Pakistan will be decreasing, while hostilities will be transforming into cooperation and competition, and thereby this image would be really recognized across the world, where Pakistan would be a shining light. Pakistani nation, Pakistani leaders, Pakistan's brave army and Pakistan's brave armed forces, Pakistan entrepreneurship, Pakistani people, Pakistani nation would be a guiding light for the world. Would be a country which is loved by every other country. Would be represented really by hope, a hope which will define global peace. And it appears it is some kind of a, why I am so sure about it, yet again, because of the fact that what Pakistani nation has achieved, what Pakistan has achieved in defined through the 25 years of resilience and hard work. So this is and it's so there. If you can analyze it, it would nicely ensure, and therefore a lot would depend on PTI and Imran Khan, who could then just talk to the government, the political parties who are in the government, and then maybe get himself out of the prison, and then spend some time socializing with his old friends like Nazam Sethi. I mean, he's somebody who still cares about Imran Khan, who still speaks good words about Imran Khan. And there are so many other friends that Imran Khan has made in Lahore while being the cricketing star, the cricketing legend, while being a fascinating Pakistani who helped Pakistanis even nationally and internationally. So with his philanthropic activities, having a university. So Imran Khan really needs to invent himself politically with rather a more cooperative strategy, and thereby guide PTI to promote cooperation, politics of cooperation. And it can be learned really through the leadership of PMLN and Pakistan People's Party, as they did cooperate after 1990s. This Charter of Democracy represents one of the most soft and swiftest and effective method of cooperation between political parties which were in opposition to each other earlier. So I hope that this vlog would be some kind of an addition to really represent this confidence in the fact that hostilities will be resolved and Pakistan will be a more politically stable country.